when I see a package like this and on the back there's no story, to me it's a missed opportunity to bring people in. This other thing, as soon as my Reese's digests, I've got this Cliff Bar right here, right? And Cliff Bar has a story on the back of of who Cliff is, and why it was named after the founder's dad. And when you get into that story and you use video or your digital marketing tactics to tell that story, you humanize what would normally be a non-human brand. And I think that's precisely where the industry's headed. It's where we should be headed at this time, because we're all starting to master the tools of engagement, but where do we take it from there? And so I want to talk with you about the evolution of SEO and really the rise of real-world marketing, ethical influence with real people. Are you hearing about that at PubCon right now in Las Vegas?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that was the whole topic of the open keynote yesterday. And I wish I'd had time. I'm going to embarrass myself here. Wish I had time to grab his name before we got on the air.
That's
here.
All right.
I think it's Dr. Ciardili. Some people out there will know because he's a New York Times best-selling author on the subject of influence, and his topic is ethical influence. And talked about what are the things that bring about influence. And he had a number of things that he went through, but part of this is the purpose of that story. One of the purposes of telling your story is that you gain trust with people out there. You become real to them. He showed side-by-side examples of websites that had the typical About Us page, which is just kind of a boring recitation of, this is what we do and this is what we make and these are the awards we receive, blah, 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 blah. Side by side with some brands that have used their About pages or used the pages on the website to tell a story that engages the user, that invites the user in, that says there's real humans behind this.
Right.
That shows maybe some humor or some pathos, kinds of things that brings about a natural trust. And here, let me give you a real tidbit from that thing that just is totally non-intuitive. It was one of the best takeaways from his talk. And that was that they found, it's all based on numerous scientific studies. They found that if you are in negotiation with someone, which really, social media engagement, whatever you're doing, that's a form of negotiation with your potential customers out there. That if you, the conventional wisdom would be put all of your best stuff front, all the, here's why we're the best, here's why we're the best, here's why we're better than anyone else up front, kind of bowl the person over so that they're going to be on your side. What they've actually found is that if you lead with a weakness, if you write out front with, here's a great example. He gave an example of a recent ad campaign of I think it was L'Oreal Cosmetics, and they said their slogan is something like expensive, but you're worth it. And that's the thing. This is the but. Now, you don't go through a long list of all your weaknesses or your drawbacks, but you give one thing that's expensive, and that community, that what that does, what they found psychologically, is it breaks down a barrier, and it says, it actually invites people to trust you more when you begin to then go into your strengths or your benefits, the things that are good about you. Another example goes back to my childhood in the '60s. Was Avis Rent-A-Car, which was the #2 rent-a-car. So they came out and their ad campaign was, "We're #2," which is not the thing you would normally want to proclaim.
Right.
This was, "We're #2, but we try harder." And again, just that little takeaway of being willing to be honest about something, saying like, we might cost than the others, or we might take a little bit longer to get results, but then you got that trust.